Dave, back on the training ground, but back on the training ground, top of the league as well. Has there been suppose a different vibe, a different atmosphere around the place as well?
Not really. There's always, like I say, regardless of being top of the league, second in the league, we're on the back of a really good unbeaten run. So that's always going to breed confidence and breed people in, I suppose, a good mindset mentally. So um, everyone wants to train, everyone wants to play. The sun's been out this week, so it's been good, it's been bright, and we're really looking forward to Saturday.
Another addition that was it training this week, and the big news is Danny Elliott has signed. Few fans kind of wondering, has Danny Elliott signed? Because you almost suspect Stockport recall Richie Bennett, but I suppose you're also considering the fact that we've lost Joe Gray this season.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's just in terms of, you look in terms of Oatsy's been playing as a centre forward when we've played in a two. If he's out, then with Joe being out for the season, we do miss pace up the top end of the pitch, and Danny certainly provides that. So regardless of what happens with Richie, you have to cover all eventualities, and I suppose we're looking at it and going, whatever the pessimist, as I always tell defenders to be, and expect things to happen that don't go in your favour. That if he does get recalled, then we've got numbers there, and the likelihood is we'll try and bring maybe another one in as well, just to make sure we've got bases covered, to give us the best chances moving forward. Be that in the last 7 games of the season, or be that in playoff games at the end.
So what was the situation with Danny? Obviously, we spoke before about your loan situation and how you're only allowed 5 in a match day squad. So Danny obviously left Chester this week to join us permanently. Was that something to do with you chatting with Chester and just sorting that situation out?
Yeah, listen, I suppose like with all a lot of National League players that are on 1-year contracts, their contracts were due to expire in the next month or so. Most all of them are pretty much on furlough, and that was Danny's case. Now, whether he will stay at Chester next year is open for debate. And they want to, like I say, they want to keep him, and he could end up going back there. From our perspective, it certainly made the deal a lot more attractive to be able to get Danny in permanently, and like I say, not have another loan option crossed off for us. So, like I say, Chester have been great in terms of how they've gone about things, and recognised that it was an opportunity for Danny. I suppose the potential backdrop of that for them is that Danny comes in, does really well, and all of a sudden his stock, whether it be with us or with other clubs, is raised, and he maybe doesn't end up back at Chester, and that's obviously will be disappointing for them. But like I said, they've recognised the opportunity for the player, recognised what he wanted to do, and have been great for him on that front. And like I say, and we benefited from that as well. So can't thank them enough for how they've gone about things. I've known Bernard and John a long time, and have managed at similar levels moving forward and things. So they've been, like I say, they've been a breath of fresh air going into Chester, and I obviously thank them for their help in helping this, or assisting this happening.
So how has he been in training this week? Has he managed to get that sharpness back that you might have expected?
He's naturally a really fit lad, and he'd been training anyway away from obviously on furlough. So Chester aren't training. He'd been training not by himself, but with a group. So has been doing football specific training. So has come in. Is sharp. Is bright. Again, I think when you are coming into an environment where you're not just stepping up a division, you're stepping up a division to a team that's at top of the league, it can only fill you with extra extra energy and extra sort of verve, and he's looked really bright, really sharp in training. He's a really, really nice lad, sort of fitted into a, like I say, what a good group really easily. And he's really excited about the I suppose potential of showing what he can do. So I'm sure, like I say, he'll be a really good addition to the squad, and will have an impact if and when required.
Wealdstone away this weekend. What are you expecting from them? I know a lot of fans may look at it and think it's one of them games that we obviously will be the favourites to win, but I imagine you going and telling your players that every game in this league it will be a tough game.
Of course it will, regardless of who you play against. I said this before the game on Saturday. People were talking about, oh, if you win, you go top of the league. Being top of the league is only a consequence of your performance. Again, quite easily say the same on Saturday. Oh, if you win, you stay top of the league. Staying top of the league will only be a consequence of our performance. And lots of things can happen in football games that you can't control, and we've seen that. Again, look back a little bit, and people, I'm sure, at the end of the season will look back and say, "What if you did that? What if you did that?" We had 2 sendings off. One of them, we've had 3 sendings off this season. 2 of them unjustified, and in those games we've dropped points. Lots of things can happen. You can only control what you can control, and what we've got to do and what we will do is we'll go there fully prepared, knowing potentially what the opposition will do or could do or have done over the recent past and earlier in the season. We'll go work our socks off and compete for every ball and look to be positive and look to get on the front foot and look to win the ball back and look to get goal scoring opportunities and hopefully put the ball in the net and come away at an earlier time, whether it be an earlier kickoff, go away at 3 o'clock and still be top of the pile. And if we do that and we don't win, then as much as we don't like it, then for me, I'll be grumpy, angry for a time. But as long as we've done what we can, I'll reflect and go, we're all right. Because if we do that, I'm very confident that we give ourselves a really, really good chance of winning, as we do in every game in this league.
Another one of the talking points really from the last few weeks is our opponents who are meant to play next week. Weymouth, obviously potentially moving that to the end of the season. It's kind of news just kind of broke out that the National League have kind of given the green light, but having a few problems maybe agreeing that with Weymouth. How important is that for Hartlepool in general and for you as a squad that we compete on that last day with everyone else, and also the potential of being backed by 1,500 fans?
Yeah, it's a tough situation. I completely get it from Weymouth's perspective. So this is by no means us forcing the issue and saying the game has to be moved. I think we'd obviously mentioned it, and the National League have looked into it and ideally see that as the way forward. But if we play Weymouth next week, that's not from our perspective, it's not a problem. All it means is we still have the same amount of games to play than everybody else. Potentially everyone else on the last game of the season goes to play, knowing what they have to do to finish in a certain position, and we can't directly affect that. But let's say that will is what it is, and we'll see where it has. The one thing that again potentially provides is an opportunity to get supporters back in the stadium. I think in our level, we, as it stands, with the Weymouth game being at the moment next Saturday on the 24th rather than the last game of the season, we'd be the only team this season to play or to not play a game, a regular season game with any fans in. So that would be disappointing. On the back of that becomes we're playing last game of the season at home and you're only allowed a certain amount of supporters in. I don't, like I said after last Saturday's game, I don't envy the people who have to administer that and sort out logistics for that, because like I say, with such with such an important game on the horizon, only being able to have less than 2,000 supporters in the Vic, it's going to be a really, really tough one. And I'm sure there'll be lots of people looking to get vantage points all over to make sure they can see the game.
We'll certainly see how that one plays out. But looking more towards this weekend, just an injury update on the squad, and more importantly, Ben Killip went for his scan this week, and I believe you had more confirmation on that as well.
Yeah, Ben had a scan Tuesday and saw a specialist on Wednesday. So again, I suppose confirmed our fears that he won't play again this season. Probably looking at 12 weeks. He's torn the medial ligament in his elbow, not ruptured, so like I said, no operation required. And as a result of that stress, he's got a tiny fracture in the radial head on the opposite side. When I suppose in a knee where the bones are a bit more sturdy, you might have got some bone bruising, so he's got a tiny fracture there. The fracture's, again, by the by, it's more the fact that the medial ligament's going to take that time to heal, so he won't play again. Injury wise, aside from that, obviously joined in yesterday and trained and looked really bright and really sharp, so fingers crossed no reaction today from him, and he's available for us for the weekend. And everyone else is in good shape certainly from the Notts County game. Jono remains out, but apart from him, all good to go, and everybody, like I say, in a really good frame of mind. Looking forward to travelling to Wealdstone tomorrow, training, and hopefully going up winning on Saturday.
Dave, thank you very much.
Cheers, Alex. Thank you.